Welcome everyone. We're kicking it old school once again, and let's see if all the sound is working today. Steven, say something. Let's make sure.
Say something, make sure.
There we go. That works. Welcome
Does
everyone.
it work?
I hope so. The chat will let us know
In
quick
10
enough.
minutes, it's all going to blow up.
They'll let us know
That's
quick enough if
basically
they're an Atari fan and if the audio is working. So we got a lot of people in the chat already. We have Kongs of Us, we have Rotundo, we have Mad Asterisk Gaming, we have Triumph or Die, Pliskin's Run as always, Papa Brad's Gaming, Jason's here, JLS Gaming, Sir Sega.
You got the regulars.
Upgus, yeah, the regulars are here, of course. Goofy Foot, I think we got everyone there. Thor TC's here as well. Of course, Adam's here every week. Shinobi Gaming just joined. Glenn Baisley is here. Zero Redux is here. Was it Green Semi 87? I think I'm doing pretty good without my glasses. I'm doing pretty good here. So
yeah, usually your cataracts are going to kick in or
we're going to say turn your voice up a little bit. Let's see if I can crank up my voice just a smidgen here. There we go.
Too
Steven?
much.
Too
Not
much?
enough.
Yeah, it's never enough.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not listening it to on the live thing, so whatever.
Oh, Carl just joined, and John is here as well. Say that again.
We're gonna let the crowd let us know if we're too loud, not enough loud, or
true,
whatever,
true. So we got everyone here, and want to welcome you all once again.
Happy Friday, everybody!
Absolutely happy Friday.
And there's people already causing trouble there. What the hell?
That's okay. You know, I'm Italian. I'm not gonna lie. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. Absolutely horrible. And I'm also half blind. Just being old.
So if it doesn't have whatever O or whatever E on the end of it, you don't remember it, or what?
More or less. But Papa Brad's got it right. Atari forever. So that's going to be what we're pretty much talking about today is Atari, and of course Atari age, and what people think about this. And the Kong is saying that audio is okay. I do sound lower than Steven. I'm trying to get Steven the spotlight tonight. You know, I'm trying to give him a special.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
In the last few, I've been a little quiet. Not that I'm pissed off or anything. I've just been, a little quiet because when we talk about arcade 1-up and stuff like that, I don't have one, so I'm kind of like, yeah, arcade 1-up's evil, and I don't know who they are, and I've never bought their product. So, you know what I mean? So I kind of sit on the sidelines,
And actually, while Kongs is here, I want to thank him. I know for a fact that Kongs and Russ did pick up one of my Ikari sticks. You know, I would have sent him one for review purposes, but Kongs always buys them. So Kongs, thank you.
He wants to be at the front of the line.
Well, he's bought like 50 of my GRS flight yokes. So, you know, the guy kind of deserved something. He bought a ton of them. He buys. I'm going out of stock because of Kongs with those things.
Really?
Yeah, he buys a ton. He buys a ton.
And my cousin Sean just showed up. Hello, Sean.
Yo, we got the yo in there.
The yo in there. Yo.
Oh, we got a super chat already. Read that super chat.
Wow. So it says, shout out to Glenn and Steven. Always appreciate the show. Check out the new Ikari World. Okay. And it's a PR stuff.
That's okay. That's okay. I didn't pay him for that. He did it himself. He did. So I want to thank.
I don't have. Glenn sent me a care package a few years ago. The spinner was in there. The trackball was in there. The Tron stick was in there, and it's not crap, which is good. You know. So
look, Kong says he needs like 10 more.
Good Lord. Okay.
But he
back up the truck.
Beep, well, you know, I'm going to be at the the Cleveland Gaming Classic in about 2 weeks. And if you are in the area, Steve won't be there. But if you are there, I'm going to have my flight yoke there, playing Star Wars for people to play that. I'm going to have my Sinden GRS shotgun there. If you guys want to try that out.
GRS boomstick.
Yep, boomstick. I'm going to have the prototype of the Ikari Warrior stick there to play. I'm also going to have my Warlords machine set up with 4 spinners, people to play that. A Build-A-Kit will be there. So we'll have a lot of things. And I'll be sitting right at me and Michael B are going to be sitting like right next to each other. It's like me and Michael B, like we're going to be like table buddies out there.
Cool.
Gallagher Guy 88 just joined. Welcome. Pop Brad is obviously here. Andy's Game Room is here. Hobby Hands, of course, always welcome here as well. But today we're going to be talking old school stuff. You know,
let's start off with that big news there. With
let's talk about that.
How about we do that?
So Atari, as an organization, is trying to make a comeback. Basically, they did the Atari 2600 Plus, which I know, Steven, you said you're excited for.
Well, it depends on a few things, but yes, you know, excitement's a big word. Curious with interest. You know,
okay,
that's basically it. I with caution. Because if I can be allowed to, I have an Atari, not Atari Max. What am I saying? The Harmony Encore cart.
Yes.
And then you can play anything on there. Well, if that thing doesn't work in the 2600 Plus, which Glenn tells me no, I'm not buying it because I only have a small stash of original carts. I think I may have about 30 of them.
Right.
You know, like Hero, River Raid, Pac-Man ET, all that stuff. But that's it. But I want to be able to play everything on high def. That'd be great, you know.
Well,
but I have a feeling it's like you said, it's not gonna. So time will tell, right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, here's my thing. I mean, they came out with the VCS, which really was kind of overpriced for what it was, but it did look cool.
Right? A cell phone technology thing.
They did that. They acquired a couple of companies. You know, they bought Stern. They got Berserk and Frenzy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is. So Atari is starting to get some IPs back in its portfolio. They would have a ton already of their own, but they're buying more. They're coming out with new hardware. Now the 2600 Plus for me is a little bit of a disappointment, only because if you're going to recreate that machine, it should have been the first machine, the 6 switcher. Honestly,
for
me,
I agree.
The 4 switcher, to me, I get it. More people may have had that because there was a cost-reduced version, but you should have come out with this is your console, the heavy 6er. That should have been what they did. So I'm definitely going to get one when it goes on like clearance or sale. I'm not going to pay the full price for that. But I do respect Atari for coming back into the mix. Now I grew up in a time like Steven, like you did as well. Atari was the big guns at the time.
The king.
Coleco.
They ruled the video game world.
They did.
Then.
But then they fell. They got pushed off the mountain, and Nintendo came the big thing. I used to hate working in Radio Shack. People come in. And they were always saying, like, back in the day it was Atari. You have Atari games. That Atari was the all-encompassing in television, ColecoVision. People said Atari. That was just it. And then it became Nintendo.
The Atari games, and they really meant Coleco games or Intellivision games. And you're like,
and then that became Nintendo, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I wasn't an Atari guy. So I'm an Atari fanboy. I am. I love Atari. I know
Well, you've
there's
got the other consoles, the 5200, the 7800, and
right, right. So I'm a big
so I
fanboy.
never
So
experienced those, but
I do take my hat off to the CEO of Atari, who's Wade Rosen. I do take it off to him for trying to make Atari relevant again. I think they're on their way. I do think they're on the way for that, but I do have some concerns when it comes to Atari age. And Steve, I don't know if you want to start off with how you feel about it, but
yeah, let's well let to add to your point, basically with Atari, I think the CEO, it looks like he's doing the right moves, or they're doing the right moves, as in acquiring studios, releasing a mini or whatever that actually plays real cartridge. I think it appears on paper to be doing the stuff in the right direction. Now let's talk about Atari age. So uh, to tell someone here that I've been going to Atari age for years and years and years, I'd be lying. When I started collecting my ColecoVision, it was the place to really, Chris Ford finally caught you alive. So I've been going to Atari age, I want to say now, for about 8 years, roughly. I wasn't there at the very beginning or anything because I wanted ColecoVision information, not Atari information, because I didn't have an Atari growing up, and my friends had it. But this acquisition, I've seen this sort of thing before, and
I'll stop real quick
sometimes
before you
it'll end
continue.
right.
Before you continue, I want to let people know that Stephen does have a good inside track here, because Stephen is the original owner and creator of Xbox Addict, and obviously ColecoVision Addict still on your thing. So Stephen kind of knows about this stuff. So I just wanted to throw that tidbit out there, Stephen. Go ahead.
Yeah. So a lot of people in the chat kind of know me as Glenn's sidekick
Bitch,
with this
yeah,
thing.
yeah, they do.
Yeah, that too. We try to keep it family, sure, but but basically, I've seen back in the day, a rival site was called Team Xbox, and they got acquired by IGN. We all know who IGN is, right? And what happened is they acquired, and essentially, from what I understand, I don't know the full story. They kept everybody on staff. Oh yeah, everybody's gonna kiss them on staff, whatever, and they got rid of them a few years later. Everybody was fired, gone, goodbye. So I was talking to Glenn earlier before the show, and I said, let's hope Albert being the owner of Atari Age, has a clause in there that says you need to keep me on staff for X amount of years or months or whatever. So that's the only thing that concerns me. Apparently, they're not going to get rid of the Coleco stuff that I originally went there for. Apparently, they're keeping all that stuff. So in TI 99 4A that Glenn's a big fan of, apparently they're keeping all that too. So I hope that Atari doesn't do the IGN thing that happened in the Xbox world many years ago. I hope that they keep Albert on staff as a gaming Atari historian, right? Is
That's the title.
role that
the
title he's been given or whatever, and let's hope. You know what I mean? I hope the best for Albert and everything else, and I just hope that Atari doesn't pull a fast one and go, goodbye, Albert, see ya, and Albert's left on the sidewalk, holding his hat, So, what do you think, Glenn? What do you think?
Well,
of
I've known
this whole acquisition thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Albert a long time, and I know he was getting stressed. The running that site, and
it's not easy running.
It's not running the site, but he's making new cartridges, or he's taking home brews, putting them on cartridges. He's doing that by hand himself. So I know he was stressed for a lot of years. But when people do things like that, it's a labor of love. I mean, the thing that gets me, it wasn't originally called Atari Age. I think it was like a 2600 something, and they got changed its name. It's been out since 1998. The site, but my only concern is anytime a company takes over a website, there's got to be some change that happen. Now, people kind of saw something coming because a lot of games that had licenses on them that maybe were modified or hacked started.
Apparently they even close to something similar on the market. Let's say it was a close Mario game or whatever,
right?
That they just out the door, goodbye.
Right. They got removed. Now, the big thing with Atari is, like you said a moment ago, it is about Atari and their consoles, but there are so many other things. If I go into the forums over here real quick, let the page load.
There's a bunch of other machines.
Right. So they have, they have Atari computers. Forums in here, and again, this is the place to go to get all kinds of information, not about just Atari, but if you go down here, you have the VCS, But they have classic consoles, ColecoVision Atom, and Television Aquarius, Bally Astrocade, Odyssey 2 Video Pack, Vectrex, and so on and so on and so on, 3DO. So all
Everything
these
8-bit pretty much.
right, there's all the things on there. But this was a spot where people shared. Now, I don't want to say piracy because that's really not what this is about. But people did homebrew, like Pac-Man 4K, 8K. Now, that technically is a gray area. Is that going to be removed? It was removed already
It's a
from there.
Pac-Man, not licensed, but IP. And
Right, and
Namco owns the thing,
Atari does have the license for Pac-Man on the 2600. So that's what my concern is starting to be. Like, I know they made a good scramble for the ColecoVision with F18A VGA out capabilities. So this site did a lot more than just Atari, and even games that would be commercially released at some point. Sometimes put a beta. They put a beta on there. The guys test out my beta. Troubleshoot it, see if there's any problems with it.
Yeah.
Now that may stop. Now again, I don't know. This kind of is all very new, and just happening right now. And and again, for Albert, I'm sure it was lucrative. I am sure they paid him for the site, and he's collecting a salary. So I assume overall for him, it's a good deal. And Atari has said that they're mostly leaving it alone. They're going to let him continue along running the site, and I hope that's the case. But we don't know.
I think that's temporary, to be honest.
Right.
Because I think it's going to be. There's a reason why they bought this for the long term, maybe to just keep the community going, and it's the place to be when you own Atari. Anything is to go to Atari Age. If you don't know about Atari Age, I think you've been living under a rock. But in the end, what's their long game here? You know what I mean? That's the bigger question, I think, is what are they going to do with everything 5 years, 10 years, or whatever to this site?
Right, and
are they good after the domain, or
right? They could have been completely honest with Albert, saying, "Yeah, man, it's your site, la la la." But then 6 months down the road, we're going in a new direction. Right?
Yeah. In the end, they paid money. It's going to become theirs, and they're going to do what they want with it, whether Albert's on payroll or not. It belongs to them. If the deal went through, which I'm assuming it did, we're all assuming it went through, so they can get rid of them whenever they want for whatever reason they want. They can go, hey, goodbye, don't need you anymore. We got what we wanted. Or they're going to play it properly, where they're going to respect the whole thing and then just keep it going. So in the end, I'm going to probably predict a little bit why Albert did this, because I went through it with my website, especially my Xbox site, after running the thing for 20 years-ish, is you get burnt out on the whole thing.
And you get 1998. This has been going on a long time.
I have had man since 2000, so I'm close to that ballpark. And after, I want to say 17 years, I got burnt out. I was just tired of doing the same thing. Tired of, you know what I mean? You just get burnt down on the whole thing. As much as that I love Xbox, and I'm sure Albert, as much as he loves Atari stuff, you get burnt out no matter what. And then sometimes you get yahoos going in the forums that make your job not want to show up anymore or whatever. These people, they're like, I'm the best Atari person ever, or whatever, and upset everybody. And then hell breaks loose. Well, to the owner of a site, you want it to run smoothly, but when people like that show up, you're kind of like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to participate in this drama. So I'm sure there's been times that Albert contemplated on pulling the plug many times.
Yep.
Many times.
Well,
I more than
Greg's Game Room says it here. He finds a purchase concerning. It will change eventually. And also Hobbyhand said the same thing. It will soon be a shadow of its former self. And I think that's anytime big.
That's the concern.
I mean, look at Atari itself. When Atari was other than Nolan Bushnell, he ran the company. Great stuff was coming out of it. Then he sold to Time Warner.
Hot tubs with drinking and everything.
Right. Hookers, prostitutes, cocaine, hot tubs, all that stuff. And then Atari, Time Warner came in, and they got Ray Kazar coming in, and it was corporate. And now you come in a suit.
They know nothing about video games.
Nothing. They wanted you to come in 9 to 5. You had to come in a suit. And I'm not saying that's going to happen here at that level, but anytime a company's coming in, now there's potential lawsuits because someone posted a ROM that they improved. Like, look at even Missile Command on the 2600. There's a ROM hack that lets you use a trackball over the joystick, making it more accurate. But that's not from Atari. I'm assuming that has to go. Asteroids. People modified that to make it look like vector graphics and all of the cool features in there. That's probably going to have to go. Donkey Kong.
Well, unless
Donkey
Atari
Kong
owns
VCS.
those IPs.
Donkey Kong VCS.
Oh, that's got to go. That's
fantastic
Nintendo.
game. That's going to have to go. Pac-Man 8K probably going to have to go. So, and even the I know Berserk is being released on a cartridge, but there was a ROM on here already for Berserk with speech. If you had the Atari Vox box, that is going to go because they have to pay for it. So these are all things that on one side of the coin is good because Atari is trying to make itself relevant again. They're trying to make a comeback. Now they may never be what they were before. They may never be part of the top 3, top 4, never. But if Atari is still the oldest one still around, and television's really not around, Coleco's not around, Fairchild's not around, Magnavox Odyssey's not around. The only people from the original age,
step in that spotlight again.
Right. The only people still around is Atari. Now, want to call it a herpy? Maybe, I don't know. But
a herpy.
It keeps coming back. It's here.
Yeah.
And that logo, I'm like, just look at that logo right now. I love that logo, and I keep hearing in my head, have you played Atari today? That was their slogan.
Yeah.
And it didn't have the best graphics on the 2600, but the games were fun.
Everybody played it.
But now games have this fantastic graphics, and a lot of them suck. So.
Oh, yeah, the graphics mean nothing. And it's all about the fun. But you know what's weird is it doesn't bother me, but like I'm not a regular at Atari age, but I think there's a lot of people that go there. It's kind of like Cheers. They all go, their buddies are all there and everything else. And if it becomes a different place, people are just going to leave and go somewhere else. That's going to be the reality of the whole thing. And that's what happened with Team Xbox. When they got bought up by IGN, a lot of people in the forums jumped ship. They just goodbye because they got rid of the staff they said they'd keep. So the writing was on the wall, and then everybody heard it. You know how stuff spreads on the internet, right? And that's it. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, to be honest with you, Glenn. I hope for the best. I think that's the bottom line because we don't know what's really going on.
Well, JLS Game made a good comment. I just don't understand the purpose of acquiring a website by a console game maker. To be honest, if I was Atari, I would have left it alone and talked to the Albert and say, listen, we want to partner with you, but keep it yourself. Because
give them support.
That would have been a great way for Atari to, again, connect with the fans and build up that way. Now, I don't say to Albert it's tainted because, again, we don't know overall what's happening, but changes are going to happen. The freedom and the people just making modifications to these machines and games, improving them, fixing bugs. Some games just had bugs.
I've got one word for this acquisition: control.
Perhaps
that's all it is. No, but it's control in one way or another. Whether that means just tuned in, we're talking about herpes, not quite nooner. I mean, it's control on steering the boat on where Atari wants to go. So I'm guessing, and I could be wrong, completely wrong here, but my guess is they want control. Otherwise, they could have done what Microsoft did with my site. Microsoft essentially said this: we're going to support you. We're going to give you everything you need from us.
Right.
And we'll send you the consoles. We'll send you the games. You don't have to pay for them. And this wasn't very early on. This came when the 360 came out.
Okay, real quick.
And they sent us everything, right?
Trivia.
Space herpes?
What movie had space herpes? There was a movie had space herpes. Let's see if someone can get the film right that had space herpes.
I think I know what it is, but
okay, let's see if someone gets it. Which
show had space herpes?
Yes, there was a movie. There was a movie in the 80s. Space herpes. Nope, was not. Nope, it was not Spaceballs.
Oh, I thought that's what it was.
Nope, it's
Ice
not.
Pirates?
Oh, Thor got it. Ice Pirates. That is correct.
Well, Jason got it first, according to the chat.
Did he? Let me say. Jason usually gets things right. I don't see it in the chat though. I'm missing it.
Yeah, right after Zero Redux Spaceballs.
It's not
I don't know if you see the same chat.
It's not coming up in my chat, so I'm sorry if that's how it came out.
You'll see it right there in the background. See right there.
Sorry, Rexer. No, it was not Spaceballs, Rexer. Ice Pirates was the film. And actually, it's funny. Ice Pirates is Space Pirates is right there with Spaceballs. If you like Spaceballs, Space Pirates is pretty good. Just 80s style, 80s style. But yeah, you know,
I don't know. I don't know what to think entirely of that acquisition. To be honest, I don't. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's. But in the end, if I was Atari, I'd have to play my cards very carefully.
well, the thing
Tread
now,
carefully,
everyone.
Atari, because you're going to piss off the entire Atari
Well, that's the thing.
community.
That's the
So
thing
be
right there.
careful.
The
You know.
community, we're the ones who will make or break an organization. And Atari, you're right,
Well,
has to
exactly.
has to play their cards right here. Oh, see, Rex saw
And
Space Pirates
carefully.
a couple of times. But I agree. So this is, I don't want to say dangerous territory, but or an odd move. I mean, if I'm Atari, you have a huge site with tons of traffic on it already, with people that love Atari. These are Atari fanboys for sure, and people just even new to the hobby, wanting to learn about Atari and the history of it, go there. So from one point, Atari's making a smart move by doing this, but again, since it's corporate, they have to make sure license is okay. They have to make sure people are doing things in a proper fashion, and that's why it would have been better to simply say, "Hey, Albert, we're Atari. We want to work with you behind the scenes, work with each other," versus
Let
an
me ask
outright
you.
acquisition of it.
I'm going to ask you a question, Clint.
Yeah.
So for a while, you ran the Arcade One Up Facebook group, right?
Yeah, I
I don't know
did.
if you still do or
No, that
whatever,
was
but
4 years of
no.
fun. 4 years of fun.
Okay, so if I remember you telling me that they wanted to Arcade One Up people wanted to take over or control what was said on that forum or on that page, right?
Well, that's the thing.
So you know where I'm getting at with
Yep,
this,
I do.
meaning why does a company need to do that to put their nose into a community? In the Arcade One Up's case, I think it was attempting damage control. But on Atari Age, I don't think it's the same thing there as far
No.
as damage control. But what I'm getting at is there's different motives for these people acquiring these things. So let's say Arcade One Up would have offered you, I don't know, $5,000 for the access to that site or whatever.
Well, this was
what do
the
you
big.
think they would have done? You know what I mean?
That was
Like,
the
what did
big
they?
problem I had. The whole point of when I built all the different. I have a bunch of different Facebook groups and worked
Yeah,
with these companies. The whole point of me doing that was to get the people in like our chat, people in the community, in contact in a way with the
engaging.
companies that they could build a better product. And Arcade One Up just really didn't give a fuck. I'm not going to lie. They really didn't care. They say they do, but they didn't. And any type of information that they didn't want seen or any comment they didn't want, they wanted it removed. And I'm like, I was stressed out because a lot of the comments were fair questions. Why is this
Yeah.
not broken? Why can't I get this part? Why is these people not working with me? There was a lot of fair things, and Arcade wanted to crush the narrative. Now, I'm not saying that at games or the other companies don't want to do the same thing, but they were diligent on it because they just didn't build a very good product. They
Well,
didn't
I'll
want to
give you
fix
an
it.
example. Let's sort of dream a little bit here. So let's say Atari puts out this 2600 plus, makes a forum on Atari Age, right? And some people get it in their hands. They go over there and they say, "Hey, this thing's a piece of crap. Doesn't work with it. Crap. It crashes all the time, or whatever." Are they going to go there and go delete that guy's complaint?
Well, that's
You
the
know what I'm
problem.
saying?
And it was someone said
That's
it
what
a
I'm
second
hoping
ago.
won't
Here
happen,
it
and
is,
they'll
Jason.
listen, right?
Jason said it. Oh, got Pop Brad there. Hold on, Jason. Where'd you go, Jason? Moving on me. Bam. This is the problem. This is a mistake that I made.
Well, that's what I'm saying
But
earlier.
that's the mistake
to
I
control.
made, thinking the companies want to work with us and work with the community. They don't. They want to control the
They want to
narrative.
control the narrative.
They don't
It's
want
all about
any
control.
negativity on the site, and that's what I'm worried about Atari Age. I am really worried about that because when you have a product and you're making stuff, you need feedback. I take feedback. I make products,
Good or bad.
and I get feedback from people, and we work with them. We understand it.
Good or bad, right? I mean,
Right. But
in
when
the
you
end,
start
you gotta
controlling
take
the
both.
narrative of a site or a product or the
That's when
people
it's
trying to
bad.
speak up, free speech. I know it's not a worldwide thing, but here in the continental U.S., for sure, freedom of speech.
Oh,
Now,
that's the impression, anyways.
well, there is a
that.
difference between free speech and just outright just trying to trash a company, and that's true.
Yeah.
There's constructive criticism and there's bashing, and that's what the admin of the site does. You don't simply say, "I don't like that comment," and remove it. If it's a valid point,
Well, that's what I mean. I'll give you a scenario. Let's say, like I said, somebody has an Atari 2600 plus. They make a forum. He goes in there and he's like, I don't like this thing. It does this. It crashes or whatever. He's unhappy, an unhappy person, and he rips them a new one. Basically, will somebody above Albert or his admins go, I don't want to see that on the site, delete it right now? And then meanwhile, the admin or Albert or the moderator would go, well, that's just a valid complaint. But Atari goes, like you're saying, controlling the narrative. Like I said, I think it's about control. In what form or fashion is a different story, but these people get these sites or Facebook groups for control.
Right.
What type of control?
Now, I will say this.
You know.
I'm going to say this. I also have a New Wave Toys page. I have an At Games page. I have a Basic Fun page. I have a Super Impulse page. I have all these other pages. None of them, like some of them may have said something, want the post taken down. I review it. And I'm like, it's fine. They're like, okay. They don't give me a hard time. Arcade One Up was they were brutal and turned me into the old man you see in front of you today. Honestly,
they gave me this damn white hair.
They did, and that's why I said, you know what, having the official title was not worth it, and I gave it back to them. And I'm gonna make that clear. I gave Arcade One Up back the official title. They didn't take it from me. It wasn't revoked from me. I gave it back to them because there was so much bad blood between me and them. I felt it wasn't proper for me to be calling myself an official for the organization. There's so much bad blood with. I want to make a clear statement now that I took off unofficial and I willingly gave that back. Willingly gave it back. They did not take it. Yeah. They didn't boot me out. I want that completely clear because I know there's been some people saying, oh, you know, they took it back and they kicked him to the curb.
They forcefully took it or whatever.
That's not how it went down.
Well, look at it this way. I'm gonna say something that might piss some of these people off. Not our crowd, but just these corporate guys. I'm not saying Atari in this Atari Age case is this, but in the case of Arcade One Up and a bunch of other companies that have done the exact same thing, trying to control something is a form of insecurity, meaning control is an illusion, and being insecure about that and thinking you can actually control people. You know, there's people in history, bad, we'll call them dictators, that have failed miserably to try to control people and things, and it's an illusion. And if you look at good companies, they just let it be. Like in my case with Xbox, Microsoft supported us, and they still do to this day. I'm not part of it, but from what I understand, they're still supporting. And they don't buy us. They don't want to buy us. They're letting us do our thing to promote their product. Why would they acquire it?
Not to switch gears.
Them, get them a free.
Not to switch gears, real quick. Greg's Game Room. I want to give a shout out to him. He just hit 10,000 subs. If you guys are not subscribed to Greg's Game Room, after the show, don't do it now. After the show,
do it.
Go to Greg's Game Room and subscribe. Get him to 11,000 quicker than he got to 10,000. Let's help out Greg. He's just really good content. He's got some good videos on there. But
and he's got a good point too. That this is a good thing for Albert, obviously.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
For the long-term Atari community, that'll be a book that Atari will have to write and tread carefully. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but if they play their cards right, they can knock the ball out of the park and dominate again. But if they don't and they piss everybody off because of some Yahoo in your company that shouldn't be at that position, wrecks it.
Right. Well, I don't
hire the right people.
I don't think Atari has the financial means to come back with real hardware, like to compete against Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo. They don't. All they can really do at this point now is buy the properties, right? Make money on licensing, Stern,
the older properties,
and come out with, like they did with the 2600 plus. Now, I would have made my comment about I would have preferred a heavy sixer version. But I also would like them to come out with an Atari 5200. Like, I would like to see that, a mini one with real working controllers that actually work. I would like to see a Jaguar, flashback, if you will, mini. Bring the links back.
Folks have the mold for that, so
they do. And actually, I think you told me that Atari reacquired the molds, or someone told me.
I don't know.
Someone told me that Atari actually got the molds back because the Jaguar molds were going for dental equipment. If you went to a dentist's office, on the wall, some of the equipment was a Jaguar case. But apparently they got that back. So that leads me to believe, why would you do that unless you have some reason to do that? So with the Atari 40th anniversary, the Jaguar has been emulated pretty well. Again, I understand not everyone likes the Jaguar games. I get that. But the Jaguar has gotten to be very expensive. It's a very expensive console. I've got a couple, and I got a working Jaguar CD that I'm very happy to have, and the prices have gone up. So I would like to see that. And yes, Thor's put it here too. I really would like to see a Mini 400. I know there's a 400, 800, all different ones, but for some reason the 400 with that little chinky plastic keyboard, I like something about it.
Atari ST.
Back?
We're back.
Are we back? Are we?
Yep.
I don't know.
We are live. We one person watching. I guess everybody's got to
find their way back.
Find their way back. Just give me.
Okay, here we go. Starting to come back. Oh, we're back.
We're good.
All right. Let's. I got to fix this. I think though the live chat. All the fun tricks I got to do to keep this thing going. Pink. Sorry about that, everyone. We have a storm going on here, and I guess it just took out the internet. But we're back, so we're sorry about that. My son was freaking out more than anything. So I forgot what you guys have to help me. I forgot what we were talking about now. We're on a roll. We're on a good rant, and then the internet decided to go down.
We're talking about Atari age, but exactly what there? Hold on. Let me get all settled again because everything just shut off.
It did. Let me go back over here myself. We're all discombobulated now.
Yeah, maybe Atari called YouTube and said, "Shut these guys down."
Well, that would be an arcade one-up move for sure.
Or Kathleen Kennedy, and
we didn't even talk about her yet.
No, that's right. Well, she's getting back at you all the times you talk crap about her. So, but the bottom line with this subject is, I hope good things come about this acquisition in the end, long-term wise.
Right.
That Atari doesn't do stupid crap. And if they don't, great. That's the idea.
Well, the thing is, under Time Warner, there was a lot of stupid decisions done, but I don't think this Atari, and that's the thing a lot of people are talking about too. This is not obviously Atari from the 1970s, but no company is. Companies always evolve and change. So
Microsoft's not the same company it was 20 years ago.
No company is. No company is. We're talking about bringing back the Jaguar. So we're talking about
that's right, with the molds and everything.
Right.
And
so
yeah.
Again, I would like to see. That's what Atari could do, is bring back some mini consoles, mini Atari STs, mini 8-bit line, things along those lines. But that only goes so far, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, if they do that for the next 5 years, that's okay. They got a 5-year plan to do that.
Who's going to buy a mini Jaguar or whatever?
Well, I think people will, but it's not going to be like a humongous cash cow. It'll do a little bit in there.
What's the library like on that thing? I don't know much about the Jaguar. What was
the Jaguar had about 50 games, maybe like 10 were actually fun and playable.
Oh, okay.
On them.
Yeah.
It's MJP saying the same thing. Is there a market for that? There probably is, only because MJP
limited market, I imagine.
The Jaguar itself has gotten to be extremely expensive. You can spend $400 or $500 for a Jaguar.
Nowadays, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's nuts.
A Jaguar CD could run you $600 or $700, $800 on it. So the Jaguar has gotten very much there. But I agree. I personally would rather have a mini Dreamcast. I would.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie with that. But the point
I
I'm trying
love the Dreamcast.
But the point I'm trying to make is Atari's not going to come out with really new hardware. The VCS was probably as close as we were going to get to a new console, and they screwed the pooch on that. It really wasn't that good. They didn't have any software for it. The interface was meh. It was really a.
Do you own one, Glenn?
I didn't. I would have bought it at $99. They had that closeout I missed. I definitely got it for $99. But it wasn't for me.
You really want it?
No, no,
You know.
it would have been put in a box in a bag on my shelf.
Yeah. Turbo Graphics, Jason saying, had a mini. I have the.
I want to say we are having a storm, and Stephen, you're missing. You're gone. So I got to see if I can get you back. We are having a storm. Yeah, I can hear you. We are having a storm. Yep, I got to fix that. We are having a storm here, and obviously it's affecting a lot of things at the studio here. Let me see if I can get Stephen back real quick here. Well, I can hear you. I'm not sure if they can hear you, but I can hear you. Yeah, and you didn't come back this time either. Let's try this again. We may have to cut this. Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you pop out, Stephen, and come back, and I'll keep here on the in the chat. So either Arcade One Up or Atari or Kathleen Kennedy's is affecting my internet. What am I going to do? It's a storm coming through. But we can talk about Greg's Game Room again. 10,000 subs. Go over there. Was it MJP Games? Also has a. There you are. He's back. Has a channel. You can go over there as well.
I'm changing the background every time.
There we go. So it's okay. So maybe talking about Atari all this time is they're shutting me down. They spent all this money for Atari Age, and they're now like, you know what, Glenn, shut up.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to say.
Okay, so let's switch gears then for a second. So
we're running about 10 minutes. We got
Ahsoka. Let's talk some Star Wars and Ahsoka. I have seen episodes 1, 2, which I thought were quite boring. 3 got better, and 4 got better. 4 left on a very good cliffhanger, and Steven's telling me that episode 5 is going to be in the movie theaters and not streamed initially. Is that? You want to explain that a little bit?
According to what I've heard, is that Lucas, in their infinite wisdom, Lucasfilm, episode 5 is going to be in theaters like this weekend or whatever, earlier for people to watch. I don't know in front of what movie, or maybe they're trying to milk more Indiana Jones. I don't know. But they're going to put Ahsoka, episode 5, I think it's 5. Yeah, episode 5 out there. And, early. But it's still going to air apparently on Tuesday normally. But if you go to the theater, I don't know where, LA probably, or, New York or whatever, that you'll be able to watch the episode in the theater. That's what I heard.
I'm enjoying the series. I still think the characters are very cardboard. They're acting. Ahsoka's acting for sure feels to be very cardboardy.
No, I think it's the way she is. She's bitter old woman now because she's not a kid with life and everything, right? So she, I'm sure she heard Anakin dying because it's after Jedi, right?
Yes.
So I'm sure, she's angry. So who knows, right? So I honestly think I really like it. Like, I mean, if you didn't watch the episodes, maybe we'll keep the spoilers to a minimum here. But I agree with you, Glenn. The last 2 episodes were very Star Wars-y, if you will, very flavored with Star Wars, and I think it's some of the best live action we've seen so far. Some of it, anyways, not all of it, but a good chunk of it. It didn't have Jack Black in there. With
no, God, no, Jesus, no.
So it's kind of like you actually see a lightsaber fight. You actually see it, like,
but she cut someone in half, and now it can't be who I thought it was because he basically.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Dust. It turned to dust.
The suit evaporated in there somehow or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe he's not really dead. Who knows, right?
I don't know.
Maybe he's a piece together. I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing where Anakin was left for dead on Mustafar, right? And they pieced them back together. The dark side tends to put their people back together with spare parts, So maybe that's that. Who knows, right? So the Rosario Dawson, I think she plays more of a mature older Ahsoka. And I think that's what they were after.
Rex is sitting right here. There's just something I can't pinpoint about Ahsoka that doesn't come off as Jedi-like. Well, She's
She's
not a Jedi. No, she's not a
That's right.
Jedi. She's not a
Or a
Jedi.
Sith.
However, there's still something about her acting. It's just I'm not feeling now. The guy, the bad guy. What's his character's name? The guy with the beard.
Yeah, I forget. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. The older
he's
fella.
great. He's playing his role. I think fantastic. I like him. I like his Padawan. I think she's pretty good. But everyone else to me just seems very cardboardy and just doesn't
Two-dimensional kind
very
of thing.
yeah. It's so
I don't know. I think this is what I think. Like I said, I think Ahsoka is an older, bitter Ahsoka. She's not happy because she ain't no Jedi running around going, "Hey, the world's wonderful, unicorns and rainbows." And she's not a Sith where she's angry all the time. She's just seen crap. You know what I mean? Like the last episode that we saw, somebody showed up from her past without giving it away, and that may trigger some closure in her thing. I don't know. Who knows? I'm excited to see how they're going to do it. That's it. You know what I mean? And I really hope that the Ahsoka series goes for a while. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, real quick, we got a super chat here from Hobby Hands.
Yep.
Maybe sometime talk about the new Vectrex Plus. And
is that a thing?
It looks like it's a thing. I didn't know about it, so Hobby Hands, thanks for us, putting it up here. So let me see if I can bring this over here for a second. Vectrex Plus. I didn't even know about this, which is terrible on me because I am a Vectrex fan.
And hopefully we got time to talk about the help I'm requiring. That
oh yes, we're gonna do that as well.
The show.
So
yeah, hopefully
Vectrex
we have time.
Plus,
if we don't, we'll next week it.
It looks like it's a game here. Let's see, 2002, John released the 7th Vectrex game, Gravitex Plus, based off the arcade game Gravitar. Maybe we'll talk about this a little bit next week.
Hobby Hands, give us more details here, because I think,
So I didn't know about this, but real quick, we do want to talk about this. So, Stephen, how close are you to completing your Xbox 360 collection? How close are you?
Not 360, original Xbox.
Oh, original Xbox. Okay.
Original Xbox. I am under 50 titles out of 800 and change.
So that, funny enough, on his own website, he used to run the Xbox Addict.
I don't run it, but I still own it.
Not anymore.
So,
but he has a bunch of games here that he is looking for.
If you guys have them stuck in your closet, there's I think 1 or 2 games that are a little more expensive that are out there. Any help from you guys would be great. I'm not asking for a handout. I'd be willing to pay, fair price or whatever, or if you guys feel the need to whatever, to help me out, whatever. I'm up for anything. So Glenn's got on the screen. I don't know if you can put up a link in the chat, or
I can throw this in the chat, sure.
The link to the site, and that's a current list. I bought a couple on eBay, and I bought a few at a store this past weekend, but I'm under 50. I'm at 46 or something. That list, there's some of the ESPN. So basically, if you guys can help, I'm down to the last bit of it. I don't know if I'm going to go international and all that stuff eventually, but right now, North American, that's it. So it's
let's get him. Let's get Greg's Gay Room to 11,000. I guess Steven his collection complete. Let's work on both.
Don't give up your $300 game there,
no.
but just whatever you. A lot of the games I'm missing, they're not expensive games. You know what I mean? So check the list, but I do have Godzilla Save the Earth. That's an expensive game. I do have a lot of those rare games because the company sent them to me back in the day, so I just held on to them. So I was talking to Glenn before the show. I don't have Steel Battalion, which is this ginormous controller with the game, and that whole thing retailed for $250 or something back in the day. I don't have that. It's a mech game, and that sort of thing. It's just so much, you know what I mean? Like, so much stuff. So, did we lose everybody again?
No, we're still here. Rexer just brought up a point that I was trying to make as well. Rexer's dead on here. He gets she's not a Jedi, but her acting or speaking or something isn't right, and I agree.
It says you're back. I think we went off the air there for a little bit.
Did we? I don't
know. Apparently.
Again, I'm having a storm here this whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Storms. So I guess my broadband had gone down, so I do apologize for that. But I agree with Rexer here. There's just something about how she's portraying her, how she's acting, doesn't feel very Ahsoka to me. Now, again, I'm going by the Clone Wars. I know it's
Well,
an
she was a
animated
kid.
series. I get
She was a kid.
well, even
back
in
then.
Rebels, she wasn't a kid anymore. She was older.
Well, think about it. In Rebels, she showed up a little bit, right? And
Okay.
Rebels is set before Episode 4. So she would have been in her 20s, let's say, at that point, or let's say it's human years or whatever. But we're talking the show Ahsoka is after Jedi. So there's many, many years that have gone by, and she's older. Like, let's face it, I don't have the
Does that mean
energy
she
when
talks
I
like a
was
robot?
maybe, but you could
Eh.
tell a lot of crap happened, and she speaks like that maybe for a reason. Because I know Rosario Dawson, she's not a bad actress, and she can act whatever. Like she's
Well,
really,
like
really
any
good.
actor,
You
they're
know,
going to go by how the director is directing her to act. I mean,
that's right. I think it's intentional, to be honest.
yeah. I mean,
I
if you
don't
look
think
at
it's a bad actor
no,
thing
but if you
or
look at
whatever.
episode 4, 5, and 6, they had coaching from good directors, and then 1, 2, and 3 was Laura Lucas, and they talked like friggin' cardboard. They were just, I don't like
Yeah.
sand. It's it gets them everything, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have the
yeah.
high ground, Anakin, and it's just, yeah, it just it
I
didn't go
get you.
over well. I
Yep.
will say, I will say this: in the movies I shall not speak about, at least their speech pattern seemed more natural. Like people having
Yeah.
conversations.
This show reminds me of being more of a Rebels 2.0 type of show.
And I'm fine with that. And I am
That's what
totally
it
fine with
feels
that.
like to me. Where you've got Sabine and I forget the other girl's name, the green girl that's a pilot, whatever. She has a kid, that sort of thing, and you could tell everybody's just older. You know what I mean? Everything's just a lot older. So I wouldn't be surprised if that kid of hers was force sensitive because I'm guessing the dad was the blind guy.
Yes. Well, he wasn't blind until he got
He got injured,
got
obviously
injured.
there.
And Hot
Yeah,
Hands
but
said real quick that it's a low cost replacement controller for the Vectrex. So we'll have to look at the Hobby Hands and take
yeah,
a look at that. I don't know. Appreciate the super chat, but I haven't heard about this one.
yeah, me neither.
And I love the Vectrex. So
I don't even have a Vectrex, but I've seen a lot of people, and it looks pretty awesome and stuff.
Game Fridge,
I
I'm
missed it.
sorry. If you want to try and watch this stream, it's broken up into like
He's already gone.
It's like broken into 4 different shows. We had a lot of problems with the internet, so maybe save yourself the headache. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So in the end, so is there a show after this? Is there? We got to send people
Super Gamer
somewhere,
Dude should be kicking off any minute, and Greg made another comment here about Ahsoka. It seems like it's Sabine, and that's kind of what Star Wars does a lot now. You think about shows about the person they talk about, but it's really about someone else. So
well, for a while, probably. I'm guessing it's for a little while. It's like a side story, you know what I mean? And Ahsoka's because it's the apprentice and master thing going on, where Sabine is, this reckless Mandalorian.
Well, she always was. I mean, she was even in Rebels.
Yeah, and she tried moving the glass, and if that glass would have moved, I would have said, "This is crap. This is another Ray thing."
Well,
or whatever.
I'm going to be honest.
Nope, that glass did not move, and I was like so happy when it didn't move.
The fact she had like a lightsaber impaled in her that goes through blast doors and cuts inches, if not a foot of steel with no worries, gets impaled by it, and she's gone and fine in a day. It just pisses me off.
It cauterized everything. It just
come on, it should have went poof. She went poof.
She should have exploded by self-combustion for sure.
I don't know.
It's it's part of the movies, right? You can't wear glasses and see aliens like in They Live. You know what I mean? So it's
I will admit, last Sunday I did go see Jurassic Park back in the theaters in 3D, and
the first one,
the original in 3D, and
really?
It was really worth seeing again in 3D. It came out really well. When I saw it originally in the theater, it wasn't 3D. At least the theater I had, but it was really good in 3D. I had no idea. I went with Jen, her kids, and Cole. We all just went out. I thought it was just regular Jurassic Park. But he goes, "Here's your glasses." I'm like, "Oh," and it was really good. I mean, it was a good movie anyway. But the 3D
it's a classic
made
for
it
sure. But
even better.
Did they re-render the dinosaurs, or they kept all that the same?
Everything else they didn't do. They didn't do a special edition or an ET.
They didn't
where
retouch CDI or anything.
No,
or
everything was left
whatever.
the way it was originally, just 3D, and it was good. And Pliskin, man, I know you're going to hate me, but the good news is it's raining all weekend. And I do have Warcraft here
In your library.
in my library. So rainy weekend plus having it, I'm going to watch it. Maybe we'll talk about it.
Glenn got Warcraft from the local library.
Yes, that's what I did.
Yeah. That's the ticket. So we got to wrap this up because
We do.
everybody's
So
taking
I
off
do want
to
to
the other one.
apologize to everyone about the stream again.
It was a bumpy road tonight.
Cablevision just went down, but it is a storm outside. Very high winds. We actually yesterday had a bunch of trees down. I was driving home last night, and there was a tree right across my road there.
Damn.
But
Just
again,
like Jurassic Park.
kind of like, yes. So again, I appreciate you guys every week. You guys did all come back. I really do appreciate it. Steven appreciates it. What's going on with the Atari age? I guess time ultimately is going to tell. We don't know. We'll have to kind of see what happens with Atari age. But I am saddened that a good resource for some game hacks and stuff are not going to be there anymore. If you didn't get them, they're probably gone.
They're probably gone, yeah. Or you can get them somewhere else, probably. But in the end, well, all we got to say, or at least me, Atari, play your cards right. That's it. That's all.
Greg's Game Room. Atari, maybe they can do a Lynx 3. Maybe they could do a handheld.
Maybe.
That might be something. But the problem is, I don't think Atari has the resources to get new licenses.
But isn't it the Sega? They released a mini Game Gear or something.
They did, but that was really just a
keepsake.
Yeah, it wasn't really meant to be played.
No, but like if they did that with the Lynx or something, maybe I don't know.
Well, I just don't think Atari has the money. Although they did buy Stern, I get it, an old property. I don't think they have the means to really do it. However, Atari, if you want to work with Glenn's Retro Show and T-Sticks, maybe we can work one out for you guys. We can do it for you. Give me a call. I'm right here. Actually, Albert, I did talk to Albert. I am trying to work something out anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe there will be a Viper Lynx.
You'll be part of the card playing with Atari, Glenn.
Yeah,
you'll never be part of that scheme,
But
I think but that plan.
But I do think Super Game Room Dudes is doing a show, so we're kind of encroaching on their time. So we want to thank you all once again. I apologize for the
interruptions.
We do. Hope you guys had a good, safe week this week and have a great weekend planned. And we'll see you here once again in 7 days, hopefully with better broadband, Stephen.
Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, say to your loved ones that you adore them and you kiss them and give them a big lick on the cheek. Tell them they made a whole pile to you. And I'll let you sign off, Glenn, with the saying.
Nope, I'm going to let Pliskin do it. Pliskin, have a good weekend, all.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
And of course, I got to say game on. Game on, everyone.
Game on.
Game on. Sit, Blue, sit. Good dog.